Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching CNN News 18 and I am Poonam Burde. There's lots lined up for you on this edition, but let's get you started with breaking news coming in from the national capital. Actor Jacqueline Fernandez has been granted bail by the Patiala House Court. This is in the 200 crore extortion racket case. Jacqueline Fernandez has now been granted bail. Big relief there coming to the fore for the Bollywood actor as far as her linkages with conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar are concerned. Ananya and Ashish, my colleagues, will be joining us shortly to give us the details of what exactly transpired in court and if there are any conditions that have been set for granting her bail. But for now, we can tell you that Patiala House Court has granted Jacqueline Fernandez bail in the 200 crore extortion racket. Ananya, my colleague, now joins me for more on this. And Ananya, what transpired in court while bail was granted? Have any conditions been set by the court?
Well, definitely a detailed order on the same is yet to be awaited. But then, as we know and we have spoken to the lawyers, it is very, very clear that Jacqueline Fernandez has now been granted bail into this particular case. 2 lakh rupees of bail bond has to be furnished by Jacqueline Fernandez along with one surety of like amount. Apart from that, regular conditions that she would not tamper with the evidence, she would not contact witnesses into this case, and she'll have to seek permission whenever she wants to travel abroad into this particular case. The detailed order we'll get to know as to what are the reasons why the court feels that in fact Jacqueline Fernandez deserves bail. But a very, very peculiar circumstance, Poonam, because remember, whenever in general criminal jurisprudence, whenever accused is not arrested during the pendency of the investigation, that is till the filing of the charge sheet, it is very easy for him to secure a bail into a particular case because that particular accused has not been arrested in the due course of investigation. Remember that Jacqueline Fernandez was a person of interest in the beginning, and until the 4th supplementary charge sheet into this particular case, when the ED ultimately made her an accused, saying she was deliberately aware of Sukesh Chandrasekhar's criminal antecedents. However, she continued to in fact contact Sukesh Chandrasekhar and received gifts from him. So a very, very big win for Jacqueline Fernandez and her legal team. We might also be joined shortly by Mr. Prashant Patil, who is the counsel for Jacqueline Fernandez, and we'll try to get his reactions. But at this moment of time, what is very, very clear at this point of time is that it is a big relief for Jacqueline Fernandez. She is completely free now into this particular case until and unless there is some change of circumstance into this case. But at this point of time, Jacqueline has now secured bail.
Right, big relief there coming to the fore for the Bollywood actor. Stay on with me because Ashish Mehershi, who tracks the enforcement directorate very closely, also now joins me on this broadcast. And Ashish, do put in perspective for our viewers the context of it. The ED has been investigating this 200 crore extortion racket for a very long time now. Jacqueline Fernandez has also been appearing before the enforcement directorate. Her statement has also been recorded at least 2 to 3 times, if I'm not mistaken.
So, if you remember, the court came down very heavily on the enforcement directorate last time, and they said that you had the option to arrest, and why didn't you arrest? So you can't do a pick and choose policy where you decide to arrest a few and you decide not to arrest a few. And that is why, it was visible in the last hearing itself, though, the judgment came today, but it was visible in the last hearing itself that the court was a little lenient for Jacqueline, and that is why the bail came out today as well. But having said that, going into the background of the case, one has to realize the fact that the take that enforcement directorate took for making her as one of the accused was that she was beneficiary of proceeds of crime, and she purposely chose to turn a blind eye despite knowing that criminal antecedents and the criminal background of Sukesh Chandrasekhar, and despite that, she accepted gifts. And, these are not gifts, these are, expensive gifts. We're talking about Hermes bags, Louis Vuitton bags. We're talking about cars being gifted to the parents. We're talking about a very expensive horse, a Persian cat, and a number of items. And the amount that the enforcement directorate has identified is around 7.5 crore rupees. And if you remember, the enforcement directorate also decided to attach these assets in the form of fixed deposits of Jacqueline Fernandez being attached by the enforcement directorate. But ultimately, yes, the court found merit in giving bail to her, and that is why, at least though she's an accused in the matter, but she's been able to secure bail as of now. But the court has to decide finally if that Whether she purposely chose to turn a blind eye or not, it's the decision of the court.
Right.
But Enforcement Directorate believes so.
Right. Now, Ananya also continues to be with us, and he's getting us the details of what exactly transpired in court and the conditions that have been set for bail for Jacqueline Fernandez. And Ananya, like Ashish was also pointing out, the court did come down very heavily on the Enforcement Directorate last time around when the order was reserved. The bail has now been granted to Jacqueline Fernandez, and there are several conditions that have been set, not just of a personal bond that she needs to furnish, but we're given to understand some restrictions on her foreign travel have also been levied.
Well, definitely the restrictions were already there. In fact, Jacqueline Fernandez cannot travel abroad without telling the court, without seeking a prior permission from the court. And if you remember, last month when Jacqueline had approached the court seeking to travel for IFA Awards, she had sought a prior permission in order to travel for that particular purpose. And whenever such a thing happens, not only in Jacqueline's case, but then in every such case, the accused who is granted bail has to seek a prior permission of the court in order to travel abroad, or even sometimes in serious cases to travel to other cities as well. But then here it would only be meaning to travel abroad. Her passport would be actually seized and would be only given out at the time of travel. So that's the reason why in fact these such conditions are imposed, so that a person does not flee. But we have to remember that securing a bail does not mean acquittal. Securing a bail and acquittal are very, very different aspects, and still Jacqueline Fernandez is an accused into this particular case, and all the allegations against her are still to be tested at the point of trial. It would be very, very clear only after the framing of charges and the trial whether Jacqueline had a role to play or did not have a role to play. Bail is a very, very different concept, and securing a bail, though it's a very, very big relief for any accused into a particular case, but at the same time the troubles still are mounting, because she has to face trial into this particular case. However, the case becomes stronger after you've secured bail and you've not been arrested in a particular case until the filing of the charge sheet. So now from November 24th and 25th, the trial in this case would be, the arguments on framing of charges would begin into this particular case, and soon after the arguments are complete, charges would or would not be framed against the accused person. So now the next big in fact stage for Jacqueline Fernandez, or the next big step for her legal team, would be to get her discharged into this particular case only at the point of trial into this whole case. However, remember that in the PMLA case, only sections that have been invoked against Jacqueline Fernandez are section 3 and 4 for using the proceeds of crime and to enjoying the tainted money itself. So we'll have to wait and watch as to how things pan out at that stage of arguments on charge, and how the court would deal with Jacqueline Fernandez's application with regards to arguments on charge, and how would the arguments be addressed by her legal team as well.
Absolutely.